Well, to begin with, I came up with my own project, which was to do with chlamydia screening in my own practice, which was out in Western Victoria, right out in a rural area. And that grew out of my sexual health training and interest in that. But as I went on with the year, I got the opportunity to work on a much bigger project about chlamydia screening and that introduction, which was actually much better because it involved working with a team of experienced researchers across disciplines. So I had one supervisor who's a professor of general practice, another who's a sociologist, and another who's a sexual health physician, and also input from a really experienced biostatistician and epidemiologist. And that was great because I did the basic research and did the analysis myself, but I had the input of all those other people to bring it up to scratch and also to just keep me on focus. And I found it was so much better working with a team like that than it was trying to do my project on my own. The initial study has been published. I've had one paper published already, another one in process at the moment, and presented research from that various places in Australia, Perth, Adelaide, the Gold Coast and Melbourne, and I won a travel grant to take me to Seattle in North America and present the research there as well last year, which was really exciting. And probably the most important thing is to find a supervisor that you will work well with and who actually does have the time and commitment to give you regular time, and you need to discuss that explicitly at the beginning and not be shy about saying that.
My academic post involved a variety of things. It sort of grew as the year went on, and it's continued on throughout my career since that time. It involved teaching, and it involved teaching medical students, so that was quite rewarding because I felt that I had, although initially I thought I may not have had the information to provide them, I realised quickly that they had a lot to learn from me, and I had some experience that they valued, so that was really useful. And the other aspect which I wasn't sure about initially was the research side of things, whether I'd be able to do that side of things. But the research for me was really sort of groundbreaking. It opened a new horizon to me altogether. Looking back now, it certainly had a major influence in where I am at the moment. There's been numerous opportunities that have stemmed from that initial year. Most recently I was able to go to the US and complete a visiting fellowship in Washington DC, following up a whole lot of research areas and forging links between the US and Australia, which was really an invaluable opportunity and wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have done the academic post itself. In choosing to do an academic post, there was a particular experience that certainly helped cement the idea in my mind, and that was the previous year I had the opportunity to take up a position in the AGPT's registrar research workshop. It was a 2-day intensive time, it really was. It was exhausting by the end of it, but we learned all aspects of research, what it took to actually take you through a research project from conception of the idea all the way through to presenting it.
So my academic post involved mainly a research component with a bit of teaching. It was based at the Aboriginal Medical Service Tanella Dilbara in Darwin, and I investigated the acceptability and validity of a depression screening tool for use with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and I also did some teaching with Flinders medical students as well. I think the number one thing that I got out of my academic post, which is actually different to what I would have expected, is a real understanding for the I guess the sensitivities and the difficulties in doing research in the Indigenous context. The research project really turned out to be not just about the research results, but about the process of doing research in a way that was capacity building with the community. My academic post significantly influences what I do now. I'm employed as the Clinical Director of Population Health for the Torres Strait, and that's a clinical leadership role rather than a purely clinical role. So it relies on me drawing significantly from an evidence-based approach. The community liaison skills that I developed in the academic term are very, very useful to me. I did attend the registrar research workshop, and it was a very practical workshop. Again, a supported environment to learn those skills that are not necessarily intuitive, such as preparing research proposals, developing research questions, writing grant applications, thinking about the ethical issues about or surrounding research questions. These questions I found weren't really focused on directly in any other forum that I attended, so it was a unique opportunity, and even those people that are not doing an academic term, I believe, are applicable to attend. And definitely good for GPs, registrars to attend.